Hi, I'm Scylla.
I'm Shannon.
And we're
Normal Suburban Moms.
So, that last video got a little dark. So, we're going to go a little bit lighter today. It's been a bit of a rough week for me. And I want to have a little bit of fun. For those that don't know, and unless you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you probably wouldn't know, my 16-year-old kitty, Sydney, passed away. Suddenly and unexpectedly. I know she was 16, but it was still unexpected and sudden. And
It's been tough.
And my dad's birthday was yesterday. And it's been 2 years since he passed almost. So it's been a bit of a rough week, and then some work stuff that I won't get into, but yeah, I feel like I've been through the ringer, so I'm going to today we're going to talk reboots, or revivals. More revivals.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to complain about the butthurt people on Twitter, which is always fun. So let's get into it. First, I know revivals are getting a bit overdone. Revivals, reboots, sequels, whatever, what have you. It's definitely getting overdone. Some are better than others. Some really shouldn't be done. But there's two that are really good, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Specifically, Animaniacs on Hulu and Saved by the Bell on Peacock, both streaming services. Let's start with Animaniacs, because that's the one that I think has been in the works the longest. It's the one that I was heard about first anyway, and that I was looking forward to both of them.
Well, yeah, but we've been looking forward to Animaniacs for like a
longer.
long time.
I will say, oh my god, they nailed it. It felt like an actual continuation. I was afraid they would water down the humor because we've gotten so politically correct these days. They didn't cave!
And it's awesome.
It's amazing. It's the same humor from the 90s, which I think some of our peers must have forgotten. You should go back and watch previous episodes. They're on Hulu too.
And they're great.
And they're great because people were getting all offended over stupidest little things. There were people up in arms about a Johnny Depp joke and
that the humor was too mean.
Uh-huh.
But it's kind of what they do.
Yeah, that's part of the fun, is they don't take anything too seriously. Mm-hmm. And so I saw so many reviews saying how they were a child of the 90s and they had been looking forward to this, but they were so disappointed. I'm like, well, then you didn't have your expectations set, because this is Animaniacs. Mm-hmm. They actually held true.
Yes. And I thought it was great. I loved every minute of it. Mm-hmm. I want more.
I can't wait till season 2, and I hope it goes on more. Honestly, and there was a lot of uproar about the whole gender discussion and the theme song.
Because they mention, oh my gosh, what does it say? Gender equal or something, anyway, and ethnically diverse. And I'm like, that's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with them saying that.
Well, they were kind of mocking it.
Well,
and that's where people got their knickers in a bunch, as it were.
I don't feel like it was mocking that much.
I kind of feel like it was, and I'm kind of okay with that, because I kind of think we've gotten a little ridiculous with pronouns and gender and everything. So I think it's okay to laugh at it.
I think it's okay to laugh at pretty much anything.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the great thing about Animaniacs. It doesn't take anything seriously, and it doesn't even take itself seriously. And that's kind of the beauty of it. And they're equal opportunity. They poke fun at everything.
They do. And if you're offended by Animaniacs, then you don't remember the original. Because they stayed true to it. And I, as a child of the 90s, 80s, 90s, loved it. I loved it. I was so afraid they would water it down, and they didn't. So kudos to Steven Spielberg, because I know he had a huge role in that revival, and kudos to Hulu for letting them stay true to it. I can't wait for more.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like, thanks for keeping Pinky and the Brain, because I love them. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, yeah, they kept everything, and it's just...
I mean, yes, there are certain sketches I missed, although even they explain the missing characters, Slappy and the Good Feathers, and they explain it. They have a bit of a cameo, as it were, so... Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely love to see more of the Animaniacs back in a season 2, but that is literally my only complaint. I really enjoyed Slappy the Squirrel cartoons back in the day, so I'd love to see new Slappy cartoons. Other than that, I have no complaints. It was wonderful. It was funny. It was true to what it used to be. I feel like they didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you have a sense of humor and you're willing to laugh at everything and not be offended, check it out. Mm-hmm. Also, go back and watch the 90s version, because it's
great.
It holds up.
Yeah.
The other revival that we watched recently that we loved was Saved by the Bell, and that surprised me because I was scared. I don't do well with overly woke stuff trying to preach crap at me. She handles it better than me.
I'm more left than she is, so, you know.
So I was quite nervous, and while there were definitely aspects of it that maybe I didn't agree with, I still thought that it was handled in a good way. I liked the fact that they had a transgender character that was essentially the mean girl at first. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the stereotypical, oh, poor trans person.
No, and it was mentioned, it was talked about, but it wasn't
who she was.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, shoved down your throat, as people like to say, or like really, rammed in. It was like, they're transgender, okay, and then it's just their character and like who they are.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh my god, transgender, ho ho. It was just like, okay, that's who she is. Whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of times you will see the transgender person as a victim or stereotyped in some victimized way, and
she wasn't.
No.
At all.
So I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah. I think they handled it really, really nicely.
I love how they made Jessie into an adult, with her getting a doctorate and being a successful author. And in spite of how empowered she is and always has been back into the original series, she raised a mama's boy, which is so realistic because being a mom changes everything, and you can be an absolutely strong, independent person and not raise a strong, independent child.
Well, and also, she was a strong, independent person, and yet she let her husband walk all over her.
Yes.
For most of the show.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, you can be more than one thing.
And yeah, they definitely had different layers to Jessie, which I thought was wonderful. Because Jessie always has been a multi-layered character, and I love that they kept that.
Yeah.
And they showed different aspects of her. Same with Slater. He definitely... It was kind of sad to see how he ended up, but at the same time, you also saw a lot of character growth. He was very misogynistic in high school, as a lot of boys are, especially Latino boys. I can say this as a Latina. But he grew, and we saw that growth. And so I thought that was awesome character development. I love that we got to see Zach and Kelly at all, because I know they both have other commitments, the actors do, so to be able to get them at all was awesome. Zach is about what you would expect. Kelly surprised me. Kelly definitely has gotten sucked into Zach's world, which I guess after that many years of marriage you would expect. She was always really just the sweet, good, down-to-earth girl, and now she definitely has fallen into Zach's world of wealth and...
And she's the sweet, wealthy girl.
She is still sweet, but she is a little...
A little out of touch.
Little out of touch,
Yeah.
Little self-absorbed. So that was surprising, but it also makes sense. So I didn't exactly dislike it.
But also, underneath of all of that, she's still a great mom.
Yes. Zach is not a great dad, which is unfortunate, but not exactly surprising, unfortunately. Zach's always been very self-absorbed. And as I can attest from my biological sperm donor, if you are that self-absorbed, having a kid doesn't necessarily change that. And it seems like that's the case with Zach. That said, I have to say, the casting for Mac was brilliant.
Absolutely.
They added depth to Mac, and having his pranks be a result of trying to get Daddy's attention, get his approval. Mm-hmm. So I liked that. As far as the other new characters, honestly, most of them I liked. The only one that really got on my nerves was, and I don't remember her name, but she was the one that was kind of the lead character.
The Latina girl?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name either. Because it's been like a couple weeks or so since we watched it.
If you've seen the preview, she's the one that gets the time out in the show as opposed to Zach or Mac. She annoyed me.
I liked her.
She was too over the top with the, shall I call it, leftist shenanigans.
The wokeness. I liked her. You know, she was like an overachiever. She didn't want to be seen as a poor kid, even though she was. She definitely, like, there was more to her than that. So, yeah, I liked her. I liked all of them, really.
She's the only one I didn't like. I did like all of the others. Jamie was a bit of an airhead, but a good guy. Jamie is Jesse's son, and while he's definitely not the brightest bulb and definitely a mama's boy, he also has a good heart, and I did like him.
This is Hal. He's also a mama's boy.
Yes, he is.
He's my baby.
Big
baby.
Now that my sweet Sydney is gone, he's our oldest.
Yeah, he's about, 12?
Something like that.
Yeah, he's about 12 years old.
I
adopted him when he was 10. He lost his owner.
And over here, throughout this video, we have Laurel. She is our three-legged kitty.
We're just going off topic here, you know. It's what happens.
She's missing a back leg.
Yeah.
But it doesn't slow her down.
We adopted her as a kitten.
And she's my baby. She's been a huge comfort to me since I lost Sydney.
Yeah, she's very sweet. So is this guy. He's, we're selective about when he's sweet. It has to be on his terms. But he's very loving.
Say hello. Say I'm a normal suburban cat. I only have 3 legs, but I'm a normal suburban cat. Anyway, so those are a couple of awesome revivals that we have found. So if you're looking for something fun to watch over the holidays,
definitely recommend those.
Yeah, if you have access to Hulu or Peacock, definitely do that. Hulu we already had, so watching Animaniacs was easy. With Peacock, we got a 7-day free trial and binged it in one day. And then canceled the subscription. So we got to watch it for free by doing that.
I can't believe we watched it all in one day, but it was so good.
It was that good.
Like, yeah, it was that good that we're like, okay, next.
Because we normally don't binge stuff. We get antsy. But that was good enough to binge.
It was.
So anyway, if you're looking for something fun to watch over the holidays, check that out. And if you like our video, like, subscribe, share, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.